From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
A tense police standoff here in Butte was actually started by a prank known as swatting. I'll tell you about it coming up.
The sourdough fuels reduction project will limit access to one of Bozeman's favorite trailheads for a part of the summer. I'm Gabby Crevitt with that full story coming up.
6:30 on this Wednesday. Chet Lehman, Holly Brantley, Matt Elwell with you there. You saw in Gabby's story, there's still a little bit of snow out there at the Sourdough Trailhead. So we're in spring. Ish.
I don't know. April Eve.
Yeah, that's about
It's
what
definitely Montana spring. We get these crazy fluctuations in temperatures. But here's what's interesting. You know it's spring as these warmer stretches tend to last a little longer.
Yeah.
Colder stretches a little shorter.
Yep.
That's where we're at now.
Overnight temperatures a little warmer too. That's the big thing I notice as well.
Yeah, they are. And that does cause problems. I'll talk about that coming up in main weather segment here in just a bit. Temperatures this morning into the teens and 20s, mainly clear conditions. Our afternoon temperatures should build very nicely into the 40s and 50s, still a little below average for most of the area, but again, we are dealing with some warmer temperatures over the course of the next few days. We'll talk more about the effects that may have on your mountain snowpack. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Well, they call it swatting, and it's a dangerous prank in which police are given a false report to respond to a serious situation.
MTN's John Amy tells us Butte police fell victim to this hoax yesterday, and it could have ended badly.
The call came in as a shooting with a hostage situation at a residence in Uptown Butte, and police responded quickly. Fortunately, it turned out to be a false report, a hoax known as swatting, a dangerous prank which has become more common in recent years.
Somebody makes a false call, and their intention is to get the tactical team activated and respond and basically create a bunch of chaos and tie up a lot of resources.
Police, along with support from ambulance and firefighters, blocked off the area of Platinum and Travonia streets and set up a perimeter around the house. It turned out to just be teenagers in the house who had nothing to do with the hoax. Police suspect the call came from someone out of state.
It's probably going to be very difficult for us to trace. We're going to start doing that immediately, obviously, to see if we can locate the person who made the call, but it's probably going to be a difficult process.
This was the first time Butte police experienced swatting.
It shows that we're capable of responding to these things. On the good side, on the bad side, we could have been doing something else.
The sheriff pointed out that swatting is not a harmless prank and that making a false report to police is a serious crime.
There's a lot of potential for bad things to happen with us driving like that, and emergency responses and just the overall situation wasn't good. But it's dangerous because we think it's a real situation, and fortunately everybody responded safely and we all left safely, and it wasn't a real incident.
Police have no motive for the prank. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
6:33 now. The city of Bozeman and the Custer-Gallatin National Forest have teamed up for the Bozeman Municipal Watershed Fuels Reduction Project, which aims to reduce fire danger while protecting Bozeman's drinking water supply.
MTN's Gabby Crevitt lets us know how this important project might affect one of the area's most popular trailheads.
It's one of the Bozeman area's favorite trailheads, and access will be limited for a small part of the summer. And the question as to how much access will be limited and for how long is up to residents. Later this summer, crews will be working on reducing fuels in the Custer-Gallatin National Forest south of Bozeman. Both the city of Bozeman and the Custer-Gallatin National Forest are working in partnership for a portion of the project that's taking place on 380 acres of city-owned land. The city says it's all about protecting Bozeman's primary water source.
You know, there's been a few misconceptions that we're trying to prevent wildfire. We're not. Fire in the forest is actually a natural process. Now we get to the point where if a fire starts, it's going to be, hugely impactful, kill the forest, and actually cause a lot of damage to the watershed.
The project is broken down into 3 phases. During phase 2, helicopters will be removing timber from the forest, which means Sourdough Canyon Trail will have limited access due to safety concerns. So the city of Bozeman is asking residents to weigh in.
The first one's a 4-week option for a closure, which is just after 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then the weekends would be open. The second one is Monday through Thursday, no access at all, and then 3 days on the weekend. That's 5 weeks. And then the last one is a 3-week closure with no access at all for 3 weeks.
As inconvenient as it might be for fans of the trailhead, the city of Bozeman says it's a necessary project for protecting the city's drinking water.
If we get mudslides, landslides, and a lot of sediment, it'll clog our pipes going to the water treatment plant there. So we really, if we have that type of a situation, we only have 2 to 3 days of city water that we could provide.
Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Well, Gabby tells us you can find a link to the City of Bozeman survey by visiting our website. You have until April 5th to fill it out.
6:35 now. The annual spring closure Highlight Canyon Road begins this evening. That means the road closed to all motorized vehicles until the morning of May 16th. Good news is you can still enjoy the canyon by foot, bicycle. Trailheads remaining open during the motorized closure. The district ranger with the Bozeman Ranger District says the closure is important for protecting the road this time of year.
So this gives an opportunity for the road to dry out. It really helps protect resources. It helps protect the integrity of the road itself, so we don't try to get potholes and increase cracking in the pavement. So it tries to maintain the integrity of that road system while it allows the soils to dry out.
According to the Custer-Gallatin National Forest, if you are looking for last-minute adventure today, be careful. Driving conditions there are currently icy. So that's what I know about that.
Good advice.
There you go.
Other Treasure State headlines now. Marijuana is taking center stage at the Montana legislature this week.
Yeah, it's happening as lawmakers hold hearings on a number of bills that would overhaul the state's upcoming recreational marijuana system.
MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports they'll have to accommodate some very different proposals for how that system should be set up.
It was widely expected that the implementation of recreational marijuana sales would be one of the main issues in the second half of the legislative session. And this week, lawmakers started considering several bills that lay out very different plans for that implementation. The most talked about bill has been House Bill 701, sponsored by Representative Mike Hopkins, a Republican from Missoula. That bill will be heard in committee on Wednesday. It would maintain separate licensing for medical and recreational marijuana providers, and delay the issuing of licenses from October to January. It would require local governments to opt in to allowing recreational marijuana businesses before one could open. And it would redirect up to $6 million a year in revenue to the Heart Fund, Governor Greg Gianforte's proposed account for substance abuse and mental health treatment.
It is exactly what I sought out to bring forward to the legislature and to the people of Montana, which is a fully functioning, comprehensive program for the implementation of a safe, controlled, responsible program.
Two other bills had hearings in the House Business and Labor Committee on Tuesday. House Bill 670 from Republican Representative Derek Skies of Kalispell would have only a single license for marijuana businesses. They could sell medical marijuana at a 5% tax, up from 4% currently, and recreational marijuana at a 15% tax, down from 20% in Initiative 190. The money would go towards state pension liability and into a trust fund to address the impacts of marijuana use. The bill would delay recreational sales until March.
This is not a race to get recreational marijuana up and going, but a timeline for a thoughtful and quality rollout of a major industry that'll have huge impacts on Montana's future.
Representative Brad Cheetah, a Republican from Missoula, presented House Bill 707. That bill would turn the recreational program into a 3-tiered system, with growers selling to wholesalers and wholesalers selling to dispensaries. It would also require people to get a license to grow marijuana at home, and redirect all recreational marijuana tax revenue to the general fund.
If we can utilize the tax at the wholesale level, perhaps we will limit some of the black market activities.
Some medical marijuana businesses said Tuesday they saw Skies' bill as the least disruptive, but the advocates behind Initiative 190 said all the bills go against what the voters of Montana wanted.
What these representatives and senators are suggesting are radical departures from that implementation. They're rewrites and repeals. That's what they are, and there's no other way to put it.
The chair of House Business and Labor says they could begin taking action on the marijuana bills as soon as Thursday, and aspects of multiple bills may end up combined into one. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Now, these are not the only marijuana bills still up for debate. Representative Bill Mercer has a proposal that would direct all the tax revenue to pension liability, and Senator David Howard wants to put a referendum before voters that would repeal 190 completely.
Needless to say, more to follow.
Absolutely.
Much
a lot
more.
of sides to that issue.
Much more.
Well, coming up here, lawyers for college athletes are in front of the Supreme Court today. What the athletes want, that story coming up.
First, let's check in with Tony DeCopel to see what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we are heading into day 3 in the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer accused of murdering George Floyd. You're going to hear the emotional testimony from an off-duty EMT who pleaded with officers on the scene. Plus, for the first time in nearly 4 decades, the U.S. Supreme Court will listen to arguments about the NCAA. It is a showdown over compensation for athletes, and it could transform college sports. And Drew Barrymore joins us in studio to talk about her daytime show. They tape it just down the street. It's being picked up for a 2nd season. She's also going to discuss online dating and whether she will make a return to the big screen. See you all at 7.